Yo, it's your boy Orion, one half of the Northwest Sports Fanatics, back at you with a new video. We just hit 3 million views on YouTube on the Northwest Sports Fanatics channel. It's fantastic. It's amazing. We're ready to be able to get things kind of going at this point, taking it to the next level. You know, going from 3 million to 4 million to 5 million. We're getting closer and closer. We're at like 19,300 and some change to be able to get to about 600 or 700 more subs to be able to get to that 20,000 mark. So we're very excited. So first off, I just wanted to say thank you. Thank y'all. The Northwest Sports Fanatics family. You guys are the best fans on YouTube. I love talking football. I've been trying to come up with some good ideas for some shows within the last couple days. So I wanted to be able to get it edited right, to format it right. But I just wanted to say thank you. You know, I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. We would never be at that 3 million view mark without all of y'all watching our NFL videos, our college football videos, NBA, AEW, WWE, soccer, aka football, rugby, even if it was just for a few seconds. I know a lot of y'all have subbed, but I just want to take the time just to say thank you. I love you guys. Marcus should be hopping in the chat sometime in the next probably 10 minutes or so. I told him I was going to get it formatted, but I got a great show for y'all today. I bring the energy, I bring the heat. We just hit 3 million views, y'all. Isn't that crazy? 20,000 subscribers is next. But my NFL top 5 teams to keep your eyes on, not necessarily the best teams in the NFL, teams that, we already know are probably going to be headed to the playoffs, like the Saints, the Niners. There's certain teams that we already anticipate being great. But what about the teams that, maybe didn't have a great season last year? Maybe teams that are going to maybe jump a little bit further than you expect this season or next season. So I want to make sure I educate y'all, give you some stats, give you some knowledge, and I wanted to, kind of go over this video with y'all. I was going to, maybe do it tomorrow, but I said, fuck that. I want to make sure I get it out today. So we just hit 3 million views, y'all. My NFL top 5 teams to keep your eyes on with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that fucking like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can, either on here or patreon.com or our GoFundMe. And if you're looking for merch, Northwest Sports Fanatic merch, link is below every video on our YouTube page. I have NFL Network on right now. The Texans versus Patrick the Clone Mahomes. I'm watching it in the background. But before I get into my list, let's just say hello to everyone that's in the room. Michael Pierpont, what to do? Fly, Eagles, fly. I got some good Eagles videos coming up within the next couple weeks. Breakout players I'm excited to see, rookies that I'm excited to see, so be on the lookout for that. Javon Wright, what's up? What it do, my dude? Panthers in the building. Pierpont says, let's go. Young Nola, one of my best supporters, one of my friends, one of my family. Appreciate y'all. Nyland Saints in the building. Young Nola. Tracy in the building. Lenny D, fly, Eagles, fly. Orion, what's up, my guy? What to do? Keep grinding. Keep putting out YouTube videos. You know what I mean? I know it's one of those things. It's sometimes a slow start. Sometimes you want to be able to get more subscribers, more views. But as long as you're having fun with it, and as long as the people that are appreciating it and watching it and can vibe with you with Eagles talk, vibe with you like me, just being an NFL fan in general, I can talk Carson Wentz all day. I can talk Carson Wentz is better than Dak all day long. I can talk about the Eagles on paper. I can talk about the Eagles and their chances of being able to win the division. But also, I got some kind of things in the mix to kind of open your eyes a little bit as we're going in. Matthew Sanchez, bang, $10 donation. Keep pounding. Panther Nation, keep up the great work, my guy. You guys were always my favorite to watch every time we talked about football. The best on YouTube for any NFL content, period. You can go to other YouTube channels, but you're not going to have as much fun or learn as much or be excited to talk football with guys that actually know football, like your boy Marcus and your boy Ryan. And that's facts. Big facts, my guy. Tracy's in the building. Lenny D, like I said. Gerald Black and Gold, Light Toes. What a do, senor? How are ya? Hopefully things are going good for you. In the 504. Nathan Dodson, Suppo Rizzle. What a do, Nathan? Hopefully things are going good for you. Young Nola says, donate to me, my Cash App. Can't we all get some donations? Nola wants some donations for all his hard work with all his mixtapes that he's putting out in the rap game. Appreciate you. Love you. He said, I have always been a fan for 3 years. He said, a man plays. HTTR, Redskins in the building. I'm excited for their season coming up. We already know certain teams that are going to dominate more than likely as we're going into the season. Chiefs have a great chance with Patrick Mahomes. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, the draft pick. They didn't really lose anybody. The main question is Chris Jones. Who? Chris Jones. Do you keep him or do you let him go? I mean, for cap nightmares in the future, you hang on to him. But if you're trying to win that back-to-back, like Drake said, back-to-back, you want to hang on to him and see where it can take you, because having Chris Jones is going to be ideal with Frank Clark, Honey Badger, and the rest if you're trying to go back-to-back. But if you're looking for long-term stability in the cap, you might want to see what kind of trade situation you can do. But he's one of those great players. How can you trade a Chris Jones away? Are you going to get something in equal value? I doubt it, because he's such an amazing player as a pass rusher. But we'll have to see. The Ravens, obviously with Lamar Jackson, the MVP from last year. Him and Mark Ingram, Hollywood Brown, Mark Andrews, a top 5 tight end in this league. Plenty of pieces on the defense. It's going to be one of those things. How far are they going to go this season? Are they going to get farther than Kansas City? Are they going to play each other in the AFC Championship game like all of y'all want to see, just like me? I want to see Ravens and Chiefs. But there's going to be other teams that I feel that are going to bounce back. And so the top 5 teams to keep your eyes on by me, just some teams that I'm not necessarily going in depth about, but teams that I feel that should bounce back and get into the playoffs. Big Ben Revenge Tour 2020. I expect Big Ben and the Steelers, Juju Smith-Schuster. All right, I expect Juju Smith-Schuster, right, and the rest of the crew in Pittsburgh, TJ Watt and all, right, to be able to get back to their winning ways. And as long as Big Ben is healthy and his arm doesn't fall off, they should be back in the playoff hunt. They may not be able to overcome Baltimore, but they should still be able to get to that 9 to 12 win range, somewhere in that general area, as long as their key cogs don't get injured. All right? The Colts, Phillip Rivers. A new situation, yeah, he definitely is getting older, but this situation for him in Indianapolis is going to be a little bit better. You got the best offensive lineman in the league, Quentin Nelson, being able to block for you up front. You got great pieces on the defense as well, like Darius Leonard. So I expect the Colts to definitely battle Tennessee. Maybe Houston takes a step back. Jacksonville should still be on the bottom, but the Colts and the Titans with Tannehill and Derrick Henry, right, they should be battling it out for the AFC South, and both of those teams, to me, have a great chance to be able to get in the playoffs this season, so that's kind of a given. And let's talk about the Chargers. I don't think the Chargers are getting enough love right now, regardless if it's Tyrod Taylor or Justin Herbert from my Ducks, right? The Chargers have an amazing defense. They've been building very well. They let Melvin Gordon go to the Broncos. You got plenty of pieces, Austin Eckler, Keenan Allen. I really feel that the Chargers are due for a bounce-back season, and I could definitely see them in the playoffs as well. But as you can see in my collage of different pictures and different athletes that I decided to showcase, not every single one of these athletes would be someone that maybe you guys would talk about right out the gates. But I have a lot of things that I want to discuss, because as you know, I'm not your typical NFL fan. I'm a Northwest sports fanatic, right? But I am one of those guys that loves offensive linemen more than most NFL fans. And I'm not talking just Quentin Nelson. I'm talking about offensive linemen in general. The centers, the guards, the left tackles, the right tackles, the guys that get the blind side. I love that shit. That shit is, to me, everyone loves quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers. I get joy when I see guys pancaking the shit out of the other guys on the other side. I get joy seeing a great pull from a lineman, a guard, or a tackle, and then breaking that running back for a touchdown. Those things, going in depth into football like a chess game, going a little bit deeper than the regular checkers matchup that most of y'all see, going chess and seeing a little bit deeper. That's what Northwest Sports Fanatics fans and y'all like to see as well, but especially me. And then as we go a little bit deeper and deeper, defense. I love linebackers, edge rushers, safeties, corners, you name it. I love it. But I want to be able to go in on some of these teams. But let me just scroll up real quick. And 1 second here. I got some people messaging me, so I'm going to let them know that I am on the stream here. So if they want to be able to hop in, they can. So just give me a moment right now. Got a lot of people messaging me right now, but how are y'all doing, man? Are you guys doing great? I mean, I know with COVID-19 and coronavirus and a lot of the protesting and a lot of the stuff that's been going on, man, I'm ready for NFL. I'm ready for college football. I don't know if we're going to get it. I'm ready for this NBA. The MLB draft was today. The Mariners and the Dodgers I'm watching very closely, as me being obviously a big Ken Griffey Jr. guy, as you guys know. And obviously I love going to the Mariner games up north in Seattle and Washington. And then my dad is a huge Dodgers fan since the 50s. So anything Dodgers, I'm all over it. I'm always watching and keeping in touch. So, I mean, we're getting closer for things hopefully to get back on track. But I hope all of y'all are doing great. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. We just hit 3 million views, y'all. My NFL top 5 teams to keep your eyes on with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that fucking like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can, either on here, patreon.com, or a GoFundMe. And if you're looking for merch, Northwest Sports Fanatic merch, link is below every video on our YouTube page. I bring the energy, I bring the heat, I bring the education, and we're going to have a great show. So before I get into my list, let me just acknowledge everyone that I didn't get to acknowledge when we were going up here. So it looks like I got everybody. Nathan Dotson in the building. Matthew Sanchez with the great $10 donation to get it started. I appreciate that. Javon Wright, another Panther Nation member in the building. Nola's in the building. Nolan Saints. Ben Coleman, HTTR, and Oregon. I'm waiting for it all. Damn right, I am too, Ben Coleman. Great to see you. Lil Uzi Vert, what's up, man? Been a while. Go, Pat, go. You know, I've been reading a lot on the Packers, Uzi, and it's one of those things that I know the Jordan Love pick wasn't necessarily a popular pick, but they are going to work him in like Jalen Hurts with the Eagles, right? So you're going to be able to see Jordan Love in packages this season. I truly believe that they're going to incorporate him based on what I've been reading on the Packers website and going in. Aaron Rodgers maybe be there for maybe a year or two, and maybe the Packers will trade him, try to get some kind of value out of him, which is crazy because he's one of the best quarterbacks we've ever seen. He's one of those guys like Brett Favre that got you the Lombardi. How can you do away with Aaron Rodgers, Mr. Discount Double Check? But he is getting older. Jordan Love is the heir apparent, but I am excited to see how they plug and play Jordan Love with the Packer offense, with Devontae Adams and the rest of the crew. It's going to be exciting to see, and I expect the Packers to win the division again. I mean, the Bears should be at the bottom with the Lions. You know, the Vikings are going to definitely compete. If they can't get Dalvin Cook in the building, what a grab by the Chiefs on the highlight package here that I'm watching on NFL Network. What a grab. But, you know, it's one of those things that if Dalvin Cook doesn't get in the building, that's definitely going to hurt them. They have other options there, but I definitely think the Packers are leading that division by a considerable margin, and they're always fun to watch. I mean, regardless if you love the Pack, go, or you hate them, when they're on TV, I'm always watching. They're definitely very, very exciting. Pierpont says, check the DMs. Everyone's hitting my DMs. Everyone wants me to see it. Nathan Dotson says, have you seen the Owen Hart Beyond the Ring, Beyond the Mat? Absolutely, man. The Legion of Doom, right? LOD, right? That was probably one of my favorites, but it's kind of sad when you see a lot of the wrestling guys. You know, it's a lot of cocaine, a lot of drugs, a lot of amphetamines, a lot of steroids, and then one of the guys, if it's a tag team or one of the main guys in the show, typically just kind of goes overboard. And it's a sad story, but obviously with Owen Hart, you know, him falling to his death, you know, with the cable that, you know, broke, hit his head on the turnbuckle. Definitely a sad time. I always loved Owen Hart, Great wrestler, one of my favorites. The Hart Foundation, Bret Hart, Jim the Anvil Neidhart. Definitely love that. But, yeah, all of those have been fire. Anyone that likes wrestling, I know a lot of y'all are here to talk NFL, but anyone that's like me and Nathan, we love AEW, WWE. We love wrestling in general. Definitely take a look at Vice channels, Beyond the Mat or Beyond the Ring. Those are fire. Definitely sweet documentaries that they've showed. And there's been some, like the Chris Benoit one was really sad, but it definitely got you to see how close he was with Eddie Guerrero. Definitely, I really enjoyed watching those when they were on in the past few weeks. Uzi says, I'm interested in watching the Bills. They look nice. Yeah, they definitely look better than nice. I'll get into that here into my players to watch, teams to watch. But I really do feel that the Bills have a chance to really not necessarily overachieve, but to get to an AFC championship game sooner than later. And it could be as soon as this season against the Ravens or the Chiefs. That's how good I think the Bills are based off their coaching, based off their staff, based off the players that they have, based off the players they drafted. I really am excited to see what the Bills can do. And Josh Allen, he's still got a little room to grow. He hasn't hit his prime yet. Still was inaccurate, towards the back end of the season in the playoffs. But he'll learn. He's a gunslinger. He's got a monster cannon for an arm, but accuracy has always been an issue. But he's been getting better. So I absolutely love watching his progression in the league, especially as we're going to 2020 and beyond. Ron Rivera, Riverboat Ron. They could probably get more than 5 wins. I don't know, a lot of haters out there. Haters. You know what I mean? It's gonna be definitely a very competitive division. Eagles and Cowboys on paper definitely look like the better teams, better than maybe the Redskins at this point with Dwayne Haskins. I love what the Redskins have done on their defensive side of the ball. They look amazing. Scary Terry McLaurin is the shit, right? But there's still a couple holes on the O-line, quarterback, what you do. Do you stick with Dwayne Haskins, or in the future do you go for someone else? Do you got to keep building those offensive pieces? But they're going to get there. You know what I mean? It may not necessarily be playoffs this season, but with Riverboat Ron, you better believe at some point they are going to win the divisional crown, the NFC East crown, and they will be going to the playoffs sooner than later, and the Giants as well. I think a lot of people are sleeping on the Giants, and I'll tell you why I'm kind of high on the Giants this season, as well as going into further seasons, even though people may not see the true potential that I see moving forward. Listen, Nudge! What to do? Nola, Panthers says, young Nola says Panthers 5-11. I don't know about that. I think they can get more wins than that. More wins than that, my guy. Pierpont says Jason Kelsey, Brandon Brooks, Lane Johnson. It's a great offensive line. Great offensive line, but no Jason Peters, right? And then obviously with the Cowboys, with Frederick, not being around. So there's some wiggle room, for the Giants, which I'll get into. Will Hernandez, Andrew Thomas. That duo right there is starting to become one of my really nasty favorite duos as far as offensive linemen in the league. And they haven't even got a chance to really play together just yet. And they still got Nate Solder, which is getting a little bit older. His heyday was when he was on the Patriots. But Jason Kelsey, Brandon Brooks, Lane Johnson are amazing. Let's not get it twisted. If they just had Jason Peters there on top of that and he was a few years younger, then we're talking a whole nother ball game. But I definitely love those 3 offensive linemen. Matthew Sanchez says, I don't believe the Panthers are going to have a 11-5 or 12-4 season. Agreed. What's the weapons that we have right now on the roster? So many people's big pieces we lost this offseason. Agreed. But I think they're going to be better with Coach Rule than people are giving him credit for. You can't replace Luke Kuechly, right? You got Derek Brown. He's going to be a force. He's going to be one of your guys' favorite players. A lot of people are going to buy his jersey. I like what potential that I see in him, the highlights that I've seen in him when I see him talk. I like what I'm hearing. So I think that DJ Moore, Curtis Samuel will be able to take a leap in their game. Teddy B will be a guy that won't turn the ball over. He shouldn't. We'll see if he gets injured or not, if he can end up staying healthy for the full season. But, Run CMC, what can you say? With Christian McCaffrey. With him and Saquon Barkley, Chubb on the Browns. I mean, Zeke. I mean, we have so many great young running backs that are around that 26, years old or younger at this point in their careers. There is so much potential. And then obviously Run CMC can't do it by himself, so we're going to have to see what the rest of the pieces do. But I really think that DJ Moore and Curtis Samuel could have breakout seasons to help compensate losing Luke Kuechly and some of the other pieces that you lost, especially Super Cam Newton. Wentz is getting too much disrespect. Ridiculous. Lenny D. Yeah, and that's the thing. Carson Wentz is always going to be one of those guys, kind of like Jared Goff and Dak Prescott. They're always going to get criticized. They're going to get people are going to try to humiliate them. People are going to try to put the microscope on them. But I'll tell you what, out of all the quarterbacks that are in this league, Lenny D, as you know and I know, and I'm a Buccaneers fan, I have no bias. I call it how I see it. Patrick Mahomes by far is the best quarterback in the league, period, right? And there's other guys that have been raising their games. Russell Wilson, to me, I would probably put at number 2 as far as being valuable to the team, what he means to the team, when he's on the team, his progressions, his turnover to interception ratio, the leadership, all that. Aaron Rodgers is still on top of his game, right? But I definitely would put, when healthy, Carson Wentz is a top 5 quarterback in this league for me, because he reminds me kind of like Andrew Luck. If Andrew Luck was still healthy right now and 100%, Andrew Luck would be a top 5 quarterback in my book. Just based on his skill set, what he brings, the leadership, but those injuries hit him too hard. People like to criticize Carson Wentz because of the injuries. Did he end up winning? Does he get the Super Bowl ring? Of course he gets the Super Bowl ring. They wouldn't have had that record that they had prior to him going down. They wouldn't have been able to get to that point. That 11-2 record, I believe, or something of that nature, 11-2 or 11-3 record when he went down with a serious injury. They wouldn't have been able to get to that necessarily with Nick Foles. So a lot of these people that are saying, that he doesn't even really deserve the ring, Nick Foles won it. Of course, Nick Foles won it, but it was a team effort. Philly. Everything else. So I really think, and that's my personal opinion, I'm not an Eagles fan, you know what I mean? I call it how I see it, right down the middle, but I definitely think when Carson Wentz is healthy, he is a top 5 quarterback in this league. Can he stay healthy? That's the question. And especially for throwing, for 4,000 yards plus, right, with no receiver really hitting, over 1,000 yards in the season is incredible. So, with all the injuries they had at running back and offensive line and wide receiver, it shows you how great Carson Wentz really is. Now, if we can get those guys to stay healthy, and then you got guys like Jalen Reagor and a lot of these draft picks, and obviously so bad it hurt Zach Ertz, and then Dallas Goedert, which I love, a great tandem at the tight end position. On paper, the Eagles are great. So people can hate all they want. They can just hate on Philly, as much as they want. But I think there is a significant gap between Carson Wentz and Dak Prescott personally. I do think Dak Prescott, though, personally, is better than people give him credit for. He wasn't a first round pick. He wasn't a second round pick. So when a guy goes 3rd, 4th, 5th round, you don't really expect anything from him. Yeah, he had a great offensive line around him. Yeah, he's got great weapons around him. And now you got CeeDee Lamb there also with Amari Cooper and Gallup. The list goes on and on and on. And the defense with Van Der Esch, plenty of great pieces, right? But when it comes into the red zone, he struggled. He got a little bit better. But when he ends up playing the great teams, if he ends up playing the Eagles or New England, you can't be putting up like 9 points or 12 points or 14 points or 15 points. That is not going to get you the dub. And there was a couple games last season when Dak had an opportunity to put some points on the board. And when you're playing, top-end competition and you're throwing up like a 9, to me, he's not there just yet. But again, remember, he's not the same draft pick as Carson Wentz and Jared Goff going 1 and 2, with Goff going 1 and Wentz going 2. You know what I mean? So anyone that plays in Dallas is going to get criticized. Look at Tony Romo. Everyone wanted to crucify him. Now he's everyone's favorite broadcaster with Jim Nantz on CBS. The tables have turned. I hate Romo. Then he goes in the booth and you're like, damn. He's really good. And now as you go further and further into the NFL seasons, 2020, 2021, 2022, he might be best known for what he does on the mic rather than what he did on the football field. Isn't that ironic? To think that? And Tony Romo had a pretty damn good career. You know what I mean? But it shows you. You never know. Crazy Cajun. Who dat? You dat. What it do, my guy? Young Nola says, I need donations. Y'all, my Cash App. I feel you, man. I feel you. Poon Jan. What up, Ryan? What it do? What it do? Hopefully everything is good with all y'all. Lil Goose, put some respect on my Rams. Dark horses for the playoffs. I actually have some great information, and as you can see on my screen, Cam Akers, Cooper Kupp, contract year, no more Brandon Cooks. Cooper Kupp definitely has an opportunity to show out. As far as players breaking out, he might be my number one player in the NFL to break out this season. More touches, more opportunities. I know a lot of people like to talk shit about Jared Goff, like Carson Wentz as well, but I still think both of those guys are better than people give them credit for. They're a hell of a lot better than Jameis Winston and Marcus Mariota that went 1 and 2. You know what I mean? And a lot of times it depends on what your offensive line does. Going from their Super Bowl year when they played the Patriots in the following year, they lost some pieces on the offensive line. They didn't have a steady Todd Gurley. So there was reasons why they took a little dip in production. But I think that a bounce-back season for the Rams is definitely attainable. And I've been reading a lot of team websites. As you guys know, I'm the hardest working man on YouTube as far as NFL coverage. I typically go over every team's website. Can you believe that? Almost every day, Bleacher Report, NFL.com, ESPN app, right? I'm going through all the different Twitter and going through all my feeds, but I usually try to go to every team's website and learn something new or go based on like progressions, how guys are doing in camp. We're not there yet, obviously, with this COVID-19 and coronavirus, but possible depth charts, who's going to be starting. And it sounds like to me with the Rams, Cam Akers from Florida State, if he starts, you got Darrell Henderson, you got pieces there, and you got Malcolm Brown, so maybe Brown's the goal line guy, Henderson's the change of pace guy, but I think Cam Akers has a great chance to start, and if he starts, and if you can get some good production from Cooper Kupp, you already got plenty of other pieces, which I'm going to go into here in just a second. I definitely think that the Rams, just like the Cardinals, I think that there's a lot of wiggle room. I mean, the Niners are great. Bang, bang, Niner gang. And the Seahawks got Russell Wilson, dangerous. But I think a lot of people are sleeping on the Rams and the Cardinals on what they can do this season and beyond. And that's why your boy, Orion, and the Northwest Sports Fanatics digs deeper. I dig deeper than anybody. I do the research. I know what I'm talking about. I love the NFL. I love football. And another thing, you guys are the best fans on fucking YouTube. Calvin Griffin, my boy. What it do? Nyland Saints. We just hit 3 million fucking views on our YouTube channel. What it do? My NFL top 5 teams to keep your eyes on with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy like Matthew Sanchez did. $10, my boy. And if you're looking for merch, Northwest Sports Fanatic merch, link is below every video on our YouTube page. Let me turn the fan on a little bit on another setting. I'm going from 2 to 3 because it's hot as a bitch in here in the studio. But I got a great show for y'all. We're already almost a half hour in, and I haven't even got a chance to really get into the show. But I love vibing with y'all, telling y'all how great you guys are. Love you guys. Appreciate you guys. You guys are the best fans on YouTube. I couldn't ask for a better group of fans that we have than y'all. You know what I mean? We love the NFL. We love sports in general. But the NFL and college football to me are so much further than anything else. I love wrestling too, as you guys know. AEW is my shit. But NFL and college football is on a whole nother level. Calvin Griffin in the building. Juan Gotti talking sports in the building. Where's Haskins on the screen? Oh, dog. I know. I only had so much room. I only had so much room because, I have plenty of guys. Darius Geis that I could talk about. Dwayne Haskins. Going over Chase Young. Woo-hoo-hoo! Chase Young, baby. And I know Marcus is not the only person that is excited to see what Chase Young is going to do and that defense. It's just about getting that offense caught up to what you guys got on that defense, and that's big facts. And I have a lot of questions for the Redskins, but I know even Marcus will probably tell you they're probably a couple years out from really hitting that playoff push. This is just going to be their introductory year, with Chase Young and everyone that they have. Dwayne Haskins needs a little bit more development. We need to see what we're going to get from Darius Geis if he can stay healthy for a full season. Because I'll tell you what, if he stays healthy for a full season, it's a whole different story with their wins and their losses. So I don't know what Marcus is thinking right now If I had to put a guess on what he's thinking, I would say 5 to 7 wins this season. Not saying that they're not a good football team, but just, with what they have on the table, today. But if the Eagles have injuries, Cowboys, maybe the Giants, Saquon goes down, the Redskins definitely could, go from 5 wins to 8 wins. 6 wins to 9 wins, but we just got to see the progression, and we haven't seen enough of Dwayne Haskins to really know what we got with him, and I think they made a fantastic choice not going for Tua Tagovailoa, even though I love him, and him, on the Dolphins is great. That's a better fit, but getting Chase Young, arguably the best player in the draft, is going to pay dividends not only this season, but for years to come. This is going to be probably your best football player on the squad since Champ Bailey. I mean, we're talking about Chase Young's got that Hall of Fame ability. I remember, the glory days with Art Monk. I mean, I can go back, Riggins and Mark Rippon, Dexter Manley. Your boy knows. I watch football. I've been watching football since 85. Come on, Wangati. A lot of people don't know some of those names. Gary Clark. Your boy watched all those Super Bowls, all the Hogs in their heyday. So I know, right? But they're going to be progressing at a different rate. But we'll have to see where they go. But I definitely am excited for the Redskins' future. It's the first time that me and Marcus actually have teams that we might actually be able to do something. Regardless if it's in the Tom Brady era with me and Gronk and the Bucs these next 2 years or beyond. And the Redskins with Riverboat Ron. I'm excited. You guys got the right coach. You got the right pieces in. You got the right pieces out. And it's a bright future for people in D.C. HTTR all day long, baby. I feel it. All right. Here we go. I'm going to get caught up here. It looks like I'm almost caught up. So let me just scroll up here real quick. Samuel J. says 19.3K subs. Who talk sports like us. Let's go, baby. There's so many comments, so let me try to go back. Ooh, Shriek's in the building. All right, here we go. Sorry, I got to get caught up here with all the different people in the chat. Let's see here. Ryan Schrick says, bro, Colin Cowherd picked the Broncos to win the AFC West. He's a fucking idiot. Get Orion a job because he has more brain cells than these idiots. Damn right. I definitely think I could hold my own with Skip and Shannon, ESPN, anywhere it is. Definitely I think the Broncos are one of those teams with Drew Locke. They are going to do better than they have done in past seasons, but no way in hell are they going to beat Kansas City. They're probably not even going to beat the Chargers, and then maybe even the Raiders from Vegas. So the Denver, even with the Jerry Jeudy and some of the pieces that they have, which I'll get into here in a second with the show, it's a great possibility the Broncos could still finish 4th in the AFC West, maybe 3rd. I mean, the only way I can really see them finishing 2nd, right, is if a lot of injuries and things happen with the Raiders and the Chargers. But no way in hell you're going to be able to get past the Chiefs, which I think they have a great shot, which they're on the TV right now with Patrick Mahomes going into the Texans on NFL Network. I love their chances to go back-to-back. I know a lot of people are going to say the Ravens maybe this year will be able to get past them. I got to see it. I still got the Chiefs as the best team in the NFL today. I'll say that probably a month from now, 2 months from now, and it's their championship to lose. I really think that this team is built like the Dallas Cowboys were 92, 93, 95. And in that 94 season, if they would have had Deion, they probably could have went and won that year as well. But as we know, when Deion Sanders was on the Niners in 94 and then would jump ship to the Cowboys in 95, any team that Deion was on that was a contender more than likely was going to win that Super Bowl that following year in 95. And he didn't stay with the Niners, went to the Cowboys, and the rest is history. But this team, the Chiefs, is built for long-term success, and I can definitely see a rebirth of the New England Patriots as the dynasty of this generation and era. And I definitely could see them catching up to the New England Patriots in championships and maybe even surpassing them as long as they can keep a good collection of their core. That's how much I think of Patrick Mahomes and their roster. Clemson QB to the Redskins, Trevor Lawrence. That's my favorite quarterback right now. Out of all these quarterbacks that are in the draft this year and then next year, I love Trevor Lawrence. I know he got, smashed,
with Joe Burrow and LSU in the championship game, but he gives me that Andrew Luck vibe. He's got all the intangibles. I can't wait to see where he goes. And wherever he goes, whatever team that is going to be in for a great, great franchise move, not only for next year, but for years ahead, because I love me some Trevor Lawrence. Can't wait for him to come in the league. Javon Wright says Rams underrated for sure. They are. They are. I'm going to get into that here in just a second. Do you think Alex Smith will return to the Skins? No. I don't know if Alex Smith will really return to the NFL. I mean, we got a better chance with Cam Newton getting signed and maybe even Colin Kaepernick getting onto a team than I think Alex Smith, with the serious injuries that he had with his leg, almost getting his leg amputated, former first-round pick, watched him at Utah, watched him on the Niners, watched him on the Chiefs, always rooted for the guy, was a big key piece in developing Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, getting him to mentor him. But I'm not sure if we're going to see Alex Smith in the league ever again, which is really a shame because I always loved him in the NFL. And in college, he was a force too, and that's big facts. Juan Gotti, Talking Sports, says that Dwayne will win MVP. Well, maybe not this year. We'll have to see his development. We got a long ways to go, my guy. But I do appreciate his skill set. I think he gets kind of criticized more than he should, and we didn't really get to see a full season from him. So let's wait and give him a few seasons under his belt to see what he can do. But I think he could be the guy long term, but I got to see it. On a year-to-year basis, I got to see the interceptions, to touchdown ratio. I got to see the decision-making. I mean, nobody can be as bad as Jameis Winston, right? So, at least you got that going for you. But I definitely think that his arm strength is there. It's about the decision-making, and then I need to see some more pieces on the offensive line getting drafted. I want to keep building that O-line for the Hogs, the Hogs of 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023. So that way, when you look at the Giants, Redskins, Eagles, and Cowboys, you don't know. It's going to be one of those things where all the teams are going to get kind of slowly caught up. The Redskins and the Giants are slowly going to catch up to the Cowboys and Eagles, and then we're in for a fight. Because I know they talk about the AFC North being the black and blue division where they just beat the shit out of each other. The Bengals, the Ravens, the Steelers, right? All them, right? The Browns. But the NFC East is probably my favorite division to watch in the NFL from year to year. Even though I'm a Buccaneers fan, I love the NFC South. I love watching the Saints. Island Saints. I love watching, my Tampa Bay Buccaneers, no doubt. Go Bucks. Right, I love watching the Panthers run CMC, and even with the Falcons, right, the Dirty Birds, the low end on the totem pole now. They may surprise a few people too, They may surprise a few people. Look for Calvin Ridley to have a breakout season. I don't know if Todd Gurley will be Todd Gurley there, but we'll have to see. Julio's there, Matt Ryan, Gurley. They got pieces. The defense doesn't look too good, but the offense, there's some potential. But I just don't think there's going to be enough potential there against the Saints and the Bucks, at least this season. And that's big facts. Chiefs 2020 champs. Chiefs will win again, but there are a few teams that will be in the way for sure. Definitely. And if the Chiefs do get knocked off AFC championship game or sooner, there's a few teams that are built to do it if they get lucky enough to do it, like the Ravens, the Titans, maybe Big Ben in the revenge tour of 2020, the Colts, the Chargers. There's a few teams, but obviously the Chiefs and the Ravens by far are the two best teams in the AFC, and I see those two teams being the best two teams in the AFC for quite a while, to be honest. The next maybe 4 or 5 years, those should be the two dominant teams in the AFC. NFC, different team every year. Always a few different teams that battle it out, but it's always going to be an amazing battle in the NFC. Big facts. Javon says, Orion's speaking facts right now. Damn right I am. Teddy won't turn the ball over, but won't take many chances either. Well, he doesn't have the arm strength, to go deep. And he doesn't have that Patrick Mahomes arm. He doesn't have that Josh Allen arm. But he doesn't need to, when you have the check down God and run CMC. And you got guys like DJ Moore and Curtis Samuel that can run intermediate routes, slants, out routes. So they'll cater Coach Rule to what he's good at, and they won't make him be a quarterback that he's not. So that's a good thing about Coach Rule. He's not going to push Teddy Two Gloves to be someone that he's not, and that's why they could be a little bit better than people think. Breeze, Kamara, Sanders, Michael Thomas, Jared Cook, Young Nola. He says, I like my 5 guys. What about y'all? It's a nice 5. You know what I mean? Let's not get it twisted. Robbie Anderson as well, another deep threat, a guy that can't run really all the routes, right? But as far as a deep threat, you know, he's going to be able to get active one time every 3 games. You know, it's like in fantasy football. You don't want Robbie Anderson on your fantasy football team every week, but every once in a while he'll hit you with, 7 receptions, 125 yards, and 2 TDs. You know, and that's going to pay real big dividends, for the Panthers. Believe that. Why is the man wearing a hard hat? Come on, man. Let's go. Man, have you not watched the show before? Are you new to the channel? Are you new to the 3 million views? Only the hardcore, right? Northwest Sports Fanatics and the Fanatics are in the building, right? You got to have the hard hat. You got to have the leather hat, the hard hat. You got to have all the hats, right? If you're an NFL fan, come on, my guy. Get in tune with the program. Let's go. Juan Gotti, talking sports. In the building. Shrick, I think people need to pump the brakes on the Ravens a little. What are the chances that Lamar repeats that type of production? Not saying he's going to be bad, but I don't think he's going to be as good. Well, if you really think about it, Shrick, you know and I know the Chiefs are the best team in football. You know and I know, right? Patrick Mahomes is better than Lamar Jackson. You can run that, RPO offense that like Oregon Ducks and Marcus Mariota did, right? And he's got the speed. He's got the speed kills. He's got the wheels to do it. But when it comes in the clutch and it's 3rd down and 12 and you need a big first down and you got a really stifling defense in front of you, whether it be the Titans or whoever, can you really count on Lamar Jackson, right, to win the game for you and pick up the first down like you could with Patrick Mahomes? And the answer is no. Patrick Mahomes, is not just a thrower of the football. He's an athlete just like Lamar Jackson is, but he's got better accuracy and decision-making, in my opinion, than Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson's great, right? But he's kind of a gimmick quarterback, right? And so the thing is once these defenses start to catch on to some of the schemes, you're not going to be able to catch him down the sideline, right? No one's going to be able to really catch Lamar Jackson. So whatever he does with his wheels, with his legs, with his feet, that's a given. But as far as if it takes him to be able to win the game in the pocket, there's a huge difference between Mahomes and Lamar Jackson. So I think that the Ravens are going to be able to win a Super Bowl in the next 6 years, and to get there, they're probably going to have to get past the Kansas City Chiefs, and that's big facts. Jomo, $3.99, 54 Super Bowl champs, Chiefs in the building, right? But to me, there is a big, big drop-off from Patrick Mahomes, right? And then Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, a Carson Wentz type of player when healthy, and then Lamar Jackson. I'm not sure if Lamar Jackson is a top 5 quarterback in this league. I know he can put up top 5 quarterback numbers, don't get me wrong, but when it comes into the clutch, when the game is on the line, I think I would rather have Patrick Mahomes. I think I would rather have Russell Wilson. I think I would rather have Aaron Rodgers. I think I would rather have Carson Wentz when healthy to make the decisions at the right time. So it really depends. But I like where Lamar Jackson's game is going. He's getting better and better each and every year. And if you would have told people a couple years back that he would have won MVP within his first 5 years of playing, I don't think anyone would have really believed you, coming out from Louisville. You know what I'm saying? He had some skill set. But it's not like he was the first pick in the draft. He was a project QB, and the Ravens built their offense around him. But think of the weapons that they have. Mark Ingram, right? He was a big key in that cog to help them win games. When they had him rolling, they were winning games. The offensive line with Marshall Yanda, obviously he retired. Big key in that cog. Hollywood Brown, Mark Andrews, top 5 tight end with Darren Waller, right? Mark Andrews is great. And now you got Calais Campbell coming over, so they have pieces. Right? But I still don't put them in the same league with the Chiefs. I still have the Chiefs considerably higher, personally, than the Ravens. But the Ravens are creeping. They're creeping, right? But we'll see. All right, let's see here. A guy, Raiders. Lamar has gotten spanked in his 2 playoff games, and it shows you it's a team game. It's more than just Lamar being able to win the game for you. There's not many guys that can put everyone on their back like Mahomes, Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, that can just outright win the game for you. Those guys are special. They're different. Drew Brees, Tom Brady, in their prime and in their heyday as well, could definitely do it. So, let's see here. I'm scrolling down. Calvin Griffin. Every year, there's some so-called unstoppable team, and then they get their ass knocked off, and unstoppable Chiefs won't be any different. This Chiefs team, to me, Calvin, though, is a little bit different. It doesn't matter who they play coming out of the NFC, if it's the Saints, the Niners, Green Bay, Tampa, Seattle, whoever it is, that represents the NFC. The Chiefs are in a whole nother stratosphere. This isn't a team that is just going to be a one and done, right? They're built for long-term success. It's like the Patriots. This team is built for long-term success with Andy Reid, and I truly believe that. This team is not going to be a one and done. I mean, this is a team that's going to win multiple Lombardis. Let me say it again, multiple Lombardis. And I definitely could see them if, Mahomes stays his whole career with the Chiefs or a good chunk of his career, and Andy Reid, stays a majority of that time, and they keep a good chunk of the core on defense, and they have a good D coordinator in this big run for the next 5 to 12 years. There's a lot of championships that definitely could be won, and that's big facts. Samuel J., the man that did our logo. Panthers Nation in the building. 19.3K subs, 3 million views, 3 million views. Who you fucking know? Sports like them. Your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Love you, Samuel J. Hopefully things are going good. Appreciate you. Love you. I'm scrolling down. I'm getting caught up here. Jomo says Dak never had a coach. True. Well, Jerry Jones is pretty much running that organization, right? And I'm not really sure if McCarthy is the right guy. To me personally, that's not going to be the right guy. You could still have a top 5 offense, adding CeeDee Lamb to the mix, definitely. Gallup, Amari Cooper, Zeke, right? But I'm not sure if that's the guy that's going to get him over the hump. Personally, I say no. Dak is a great value, Donovan McNabb. Well, Donovan McNabb is way more skilled than Dak Prescott. Donovan McNabb, could really come in the clutch. I mean, we're talking about a guy that got to how many NFC championship games in a row? Super Bowl appearance. I mean, we haven't even seen Dak get to an NFC championship game just yet, so we've got to pump the brakes on that. But the Dak has potential, but he's just not as clutch and accurate in the red zone as a lot of people want him to be. And you're on the Cowboys, so of course you're going to get criticized. Almost 20K subs, 3 million views. Northwest Sports Fanatics Nation, motherfuckers. Let's go. The best fans on YouTube, all of y'all. All right. Love you guys. Love you, Samuel J. Appreciate you. Marcus, hopefully will be in the chat. I told him I was going to be online about 30 and 45 minutes, so we'll see if he'll be able to hop on. He's moving to his new house this weekend, so I'm not sure, how many videos we're going to be able to do together. But I'm hoping we'll be able to try to link up as much as possible. Jomo says Chiefs versus Bucks in the Super Bowl. Could you imagine that? I wouldn't expect to win. You know what I mean? I wouldn't expect, an NFC championship game even. Of course, I'm a contender now with Brady and Gronk. I don't know what's going to happen. You know what I mean? But if somehow, some way, the Bucks got to the fucking Super Bowl, to the Chiefs, of course, if you lost, it would be painful. But you got to think, I haven't been to the playoffs since 2007, so I would be thrilled. Just to see them in the playoffs would be amazing for me, just for being such a shitty team year in and year out. Calvin Griffin says, yep, Rams going to bounce back right to 8-8. I don't know. Could be more wins than 8-8. Chiefs-Niners rematch is possible. It's plausible, and it's possible. But how many times have we seen two teams that made the Super Bowl one year have the exact same two teams come back the next year? It's almost nearly impossible. I'm not saying it can't happen because we know the Chiefs are very strong. The Niners are arguably the strongest team in the NFC besides the Saints, top to bottom. But it's just a really hard thing to do with injuries and things that are out of their control. Just saying. And then we got Javon Wright, the Panthers Nation in the building. The Bucs are not going to the Super Bowl, but the Panthers aren't either, more than likely. But if there was a shot between the Panthers or the Bucs, and you're not a fan of the Panthers or the Bucs, I guarantee 99.9% of the people are going to say the Bucs have a better chance because they got Tom Brady. You know what I mean? He may be old, right? He may be 43, 44, 45, 55, 65 years old, right? But you got Tom Brady, you got a chance. And that's big facts. Calvin Griffin says, Bucs won't make the playoffs. I bet you money we do. I bet you money we do. I bet you. We may not beat the Saints for the NFC South crown, but I think definitely 9, 10, 11 wins is definitely possible. Just saying. I got a good team this season. Good team this season. Six Inc. in the building. Lenny D says, Chase Young going to have to show me. Did you Lenny D, my guy, fly Eagles fly. Have you watched any Ohio State football? Do you watch college football, Lenny D? This guy is a monster. Just what you saw from Nick Bosa, you're probably going to get more out of Chase Young. Just because he's in your division, don't ever doubt for a second how great Chase Young not only is and where he's going to be, but we're talking about a Hall of Fame type of player, and he hasn't even played it down yet. He's that good. Just saying. Orion, what do you think the Panthers' record going to be? I think it's going to be better than people think. This is Coach Rule's first year. No Cam Newton, no Luke Kuechly. You could have got Isaiah Simmons and you picked Derek Brown, so that might have been a mistake. But I love Derek Brown. He's going to give you pressure up front, right? But if I had to just take a guess today, right now, I say 8-8, 7-9. You know what I mean? And then the following year is going to be the year where they might be able to increase their win total to that 9-10 win range. But, in a first-year coach and Coach Rule asking 10, 11, 12 wins with no Cam Newton, right? No Luke Kuechly, that's asking a lot. Just saying. All right, I'm getting caught up. Lenny D, it looks like I'm caught up here. Lenny D says, let's see here. I'm getting close. Fly, Eagles, fly, baby. Lamar is not top 5. Yeah, I don't think he's top 5 just yet either. Fly, Eagles, fly. Bird gang, baby. I love me some NFL. Okay, man, I think I'm scrolling down. I know there's a few comments that I'm skipping, but Ruiz, my guy. I know you love the little pictures that I got there in the background. You know what I mean? I do my research. What it do, my guy? Hopefully everything is good with y'all. All right, here we go. Ruiz, LA Rams. Let's start off the show. I wish I should have started off probably about 45 minutes ago, but I love just vibing with y'all and talking with y'all. We just hit 3 million views, y'all. My NFL top 5 teams to keep your eyes on with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that fucking like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can, like Matthew Sanchez did, $10. Jomo, $3.99. And if you're looking for merch, Northwest Sports Fanatic merch, link is below every video on our YouTube page. I can't even fucking talk. I'm so excited about this show today. All right, here we go. Top 5 teams from me, Orion, your boy, and Northwest Sports Fanatics, the hardest working man in the NFL game on YouTube, period. Top 5 teams to keep your eyes on. And let's start with some honorable mentions. All right, the first one is going to be the Denver Broncos. No, I'm not an idiot like Colin Cowherd saying that they're going to win the AFC West over the Chiefs, the Chargers, and the Raiders. But they do have some potential on being a little bit better than people are giving them credit for. So these are not necessarily going to be teams that I think that are Super Bowl caliber, okay? These are teams that are kind of in middle of the pack or on the low end of the pack from last year that can take a significant jump from last season to this season or next year. Denver Broncos, Drew Locke. Marcus likes him a little bit more than me. I'm more of a Daniel Jones guy. I'm more of a Josh Allen guy, right? Baker Mayfield, I got to be able to see what you're going to be able to get, from Kevin Stefanski, which I'll be getting into in just a moment. But Drew Locke's got some potential, but the thing that he does have around him is a lot of talent. Jerry Jeudy from Alabama, Roll Tide. Cortland Sutton, which will be a great fantasy football pick. Jeudy will take away some of those looks, but I love me some Cortland Sutton. If you had him in fantasy, you know what you're getting. Noah Fant, top 12 tight end in the league. You got Phillip Lindsay, very underrated running back, undrafted, love him. Royce Freeman from the Oregon Ducks, hometown product. You got Melvin Gordon from the Chargers. So you got 3 guys in a crowded backfield, not great for fantasy football, but Phillip Lindsay definitely is a stud. You got Von Miller, a little bit older, but he definitely has Hall of Fame potential. He hasn't dropped off, the mountain just yet. Bradley Chubb, I love him. Justin Simmons, I absolutely love him as well. Very underrated, a secondary player, Justin Simmons. He's going to make a lot of plays. And then getting A.J. Bouye from the Jacksonville Jaguars, right? From Saxonville. So he's going to make a difference there. I don't know how many wins you're going to get. I don't know if you're going to be able to get more than the Raiders or the Chargers. I definitely know you're not going to get more than the fucking Chiefs, okay? And they got a lot of options there at tight end, wide receiver, right, running back. It looks great. But what about the O-line? Garrett Bowles, they drafted him right before, not this season, in years past, right, got injured. The offensive line is kind of shaky to me. So to be able to get Drew Locke enough time to make the progressions and to win games, you got to have a good O-line. So I would like to see the Denver Broncos start addressing the O-line issues, and that might be the bugaboo. That might be their problem moving forward and getting further along than they should. But I do like Drew Locke's potential to have more of a breakout season with all the weapons that he has. He better. Noah Fant, Royce Freeman, right? Phillip Lindsay, Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy. I mean, you got plenty of weapons there. Defense, there's some options there. So let's keep an eye, honorable mention, the Denver Broncos. Just saying. My other honorable mention that I want to mention, the Las Vegas Raiders. All right? And with the Las Vegas Raiders, you can see I got Josh Jacobs on the screen there in the right-hand corner. Absolutely, positively love him and Darren Waller. What an amazing duo and that tandem has become. What they need to decide, John Gruden, Mike Mayock, get rid of Carr's ass, all right? Derek Carr, see ya. Start Marcus Mariota, all right? You need, and I'm not saying that just because I'm a Duck fan. I just think that they can get more out of their offense and more out of their team by switching from Carr to Mariota. How much more? Not a lot. You know what I mean? Because I have Carr as being kind of an average quarterback, and then I have Mariota kind of being an average quarterback as well. But this change of scenery for Marcus Mariota could be a blessing in disguise, kind of like the Ryan Tannehill situation. I'm not saying the Raiders are going to be like the Titans. I'm not saying that one bit, but I'm definitely feeling that if Mariota gets his shot, they got their Tyreek the Freak Hill, their speedster, and Henry Ruggs III. He can make big plays. You already got Darren Waller and Josh Jacobs, so now you got a trio that are just amazing playmakers, and they're going to be able to do it on that fantasy level. But an X factor to me, because you know I dig deep in the NFL, X factor for the Raiders of Las Vegas, Kori Littleton. I know the Rams fans are hurting a little bit that they weren't able to keep a player like this, but I love Kori Littleton. I think that he's going to make a huge impact on that defense, and you got pieces there, you know, that can make the plays. Jonathan Abram, before he got injured. Damon Arnett from Ohio State at corner. Cleveland Farrell from Clemson at DN. And I didn't even mention Tyrell Williams at wide receiver and what he did as well. But the X factor for the Raiders is Kori Littleton. But I definitely feel, you know, the pain that the Rams, you know, fan base feels, right? But the Raiders need to make the decision on getting rid of Carr or benching him and going to Marcus Mariota. I am not saying that the Raiders are going to make the playoffs this season, but what I did say is in the first 3 years when they go to Vegas, this is going to be year one, the Raiders are going to make a wild card berth in the AFC West. It may not be this season, it may not be next season, but in the next 3 years, look for the Raiders. If they keep drafting as well as they've been drafting in these last few years, I like what Gruden and Mike Mayock are doing. Mariota, Henry Ruggs, Kori Littleton, Darren Waller, Josh Jacobs, Tyrell Williams, Cleveland Farrell, Damon Arnett, corner from Ohio State, Jonathan Abram. Sign me up. I like that. I like that. That sounds good to me. You know what I mean? And this is me being not biased, me just looking at the players, digging deep, looking at rosters, and I know a lot of y'all wouldn't even necessarily know who the hell is Kori Littleton. If you know football, and it doesn't mean that you have to be a Rams fan or a Raiders fan, watch the tape, watch him. He is a difference maker on the roster, and that's why your boy, Orion, one half of the Northwest Sports Fanatics, knows these things. All right, baby, Broncos and Raiders, my honorable mentions, let's get into it. Number 5. My number 5 team, top 5 to keep your eyes on, right, as we go into the 2020 NFL season. And I could have put this team much, much higher because they got a lot of players that I absolutely love. We're going to go to the Los Angeles Rams, and we're going to go with Cooper Kupp, as you see on the screen, Cam Akers, as you see on the screen. I think that the Rams, obviously with Andrew Whitworth and the offensive line and, you know, Todd Gurley moving on and obviously having the Super Bowl year last year and this year, where are you going to fall? The thing is you got plenty of pieces on that roster, right? You got Henderson, right? Darrell Henderson at running back. You got Malcolm Brown at running back. But from what I've been reading on the Rams website and what I've been going into, it definitely sounds like Sean McVay is in love from Cam Akers from Florida State, and I'm in love with this guy too. He is going to be the new Todd Gurley, you know, in that position as RB1. I would be shocked if he's not. right, unless they want to give him a couple games to get acclimated to the playbook. But I really think Cam Akers, RB1, right? Darrell Henderson, kind of change of pace back, maybe third down back, and then Malcolm Brown, goal line back. I've been reading a lot, and it sounds like that's kind of the way that they're thinking. Ruiz, L.A. Rams, and a lot of Rams fans in the building. You'll tell me if I'm wrong, but from what I've been hearing, it sounds like Cam Akers could really be an X factor, not only for the Rams and that offense, but that running game in general. So I really am excited to see what he's going to be able to bring. If you haven't watched Cam Akers at Florida State, I recommend watching some of his highlight reel. Not the top running back in the draft, but the perfect fit, like Clyde Edwards-Helaire for the Chiefs. Cam Akers is the perfect fit for Sean McVay and to get this offense back to where they need to get it. And let's talk about Cooper Kupp on the opposite side. He might be my number one breakout player this season. No more Brandon Cooks. He moved on to the Texans. Cooper Kupp, as long as he stays healthy, should be able to get plenty of looks. You got plenty of other options with Woods and Higbee and, all the rest. But I think Cooper Kupp now can really solidify himself as the man. And obviously Goff is going to need time from that offensive line. So it's really going to be the offensive line, Cam Akers, right? And then the defense. But if you think about it, they still have Aaron Donald, the best player in football, not named Patrick Mahomes. You got Ramsey, right? So you still got someone that is feisty, a shit talker, right? But someone that in the secondary, right? Just like he did in Jacksonville, he's going to hold it down. I like Ramsey's attitude. Leonard Floyd is in the building now. And my favorite player on the Rams that's underrated, all right? Not a lot of y'all would maybe know the name. John Johnson III. Come on now. I already get plenty of kudos and plenty of points from Rams fans because they know, the Ramily knows, O-Dog knows football. But John Johnson III, since Kori Littleton left, right, is going to be one of those X factors. Yeah, it's going to be, Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey, but John Johnson III does not get enough pub, doesn't get enough love, right, from the NFL crowds, the NFL circles, and I absolutely love his game. So we're going to have to see what he brings to the table since Kori Littleton is gone. But I really feel that the Rams have a great chance to bounce back, right? Just like the Cardinals can be a little bit better and better than people are anticipating. But let's not sleep on the Rams. I mean, Saints fans can talk all the shit that they want because the Saints and the Rams have those battles, in the regular season, in the playoffs. But this is me, a Bucs fan, an NFL fanatic that just calls it right down the middle, just like how I see it. I definitely think that the Rams can bounce back, right? Niners should still be the best team in the NFC West, and the sentence should be. Right, but if there's any type of slip-ups with injuries with Jimmy G or Kittle or some of the defensive players and Bosa or maybe Russell Wilson or Lockett or DK Metcalf, you don't know. But I wouldn't sleep on the Rams because to me, when the Rams are bad, right, they're still like an 8-8 team to me. Like when I see them play bad football, I still see them as like an 8-8 team. How many teams can you say when you think of a team being bad or 500? Not many. That's me giving a lot of love and kudos to a team that even when they may not have the best team, they can still squeak out wins with guys like Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey, and my favorite player that people don't even really know because I dig deep, John Johnson III, baby. It was Kori Littleton as well. Loved him, but obviously he is on a different team now. So Rams fans, Ramily, I know what I'm talking about. I like the Rams' chances to bounce back, and that's big facts. Number 5, Los Angeles Rams. Number 4, top 5 team to keep your eyes on. This is a team that was supposed to break out, right, last year or the year before, right? Hugh Jackson was supposed to get them to the playoffs. Baker Mayfield was supposed to get them to the playoffs. Odell Beckham and Jarvis Landry were supposed to get them to the playoffs. I'm talking about the Cleveland Browns at number 4. Keep your eyes on this team. A lot of people want to talk shit about the Cleveland Browns, but out of any division, right, in the AFC or the NFC, if you could have 3 teams make the playoffs other than NFC West, Niners, Seahawks, and Rams or Cardinals, to me, the possible chance of having 3 teams in the playoffs could be Ravens, Steelers, Big Ben, Revenge Tour 2020, and the Browns. At some point, they got to put this shit together, right? So my X factor is going to be head coach Kevin Stefanski. How can he mesh with Baker Mayfield? They have plenty of weapons for Baker to be able to make things happen. How is the relationship going to be? But the thing is they got a lot of pieces that I love, right? Odell Beckham and Jarvis Landry. I'm not really big fans of those guys. A fan that I am of tremendously, not Kareem Hunt, but Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb is so good that he could lead the league in rushing. He could be a guy that can get you 1,200, 1,400, 16, 1,700 yards, 14, 15, 18 touchdowns. He is that fucking good, even with a shitty O-line, which they had last season, and I believe he got second last season in rushing, right? Based off, yardage. You got a lot of great running backs last season, run CMC, Derrick Henry. There was some amazing running backs, but Chubb kind of gets left out of the mix. If you have him in fantasy football, you know what type of value that he has, right? But for being a guy that might not be run CMC, might not be Zeke, Chubb is amazing to me. He's a great talent from Georgia, right? You got Kareem Hunt to be the change of pace back. But the main reason that I really like this team, besides Kevin Stefanski maybe being able to gel with Baker Mayfield, Jedrick Wills Jr., right, from Bama, Roll Tide, all right? Being able to bring that in. And Jack Conklin from the Titans, another offensive tackle. They finally have addressed the O-line. And that is why I am sold on this Browns team on making a push, because you got Jack Conklin, one of the best offensive tackles in the league. When he was on the Titans, he always brought his A game. A game. Every fucking game. Jedrick Wills Jr. from Bama is the shit. So if you got two offensive tackles giving Baker more time, and having an amazing running back like Chubb, that's going to open the door for Odell to be Odell, even though I don't expect a whole lot from him. Jarvis to be Jarvis, right? But it should be able to benefit guys like Njoku. It should be able to benefit guys like Austin Hooper from the Falcons. They got plenty of weapons, right? But there's guys on defense, Myles Garrett. Let's not swing any fucking helmets and hit anybody this season, Myles. I absolutely love his game. He reminds me of Javon Kearse, the freak, right? You get a little bit of him, Jadeveon Clowney, and Javon Kearse and Myles Garrett, right? Denzel Ward at corner is one of the most underrated corners to me. He's one of the better corners that's come in the league within the last 10 years. So, and then an X-Factor piece that no one's really talking about is from the Minnesota Vikings. Skol! Is Andrew Sendejo. Andrew Sendejo is now on the Browns. And I think a lot of people are not remembering that or don't know that. So I think that, not saying that Sendejo is a Pro Bowl Hall of Fame kind of player, I'm not saying that. But to add another piece like Andrew Sendejo to that Browns defense is going to be a nice key cog to help those wheels spin for the Browns. So I need to be able to see what Kevin Stefanski is going to do. I need to see Baker Mayfield mature. I need to see less interceptions and more touchdowns. And there's no excuse. You feel me? Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, Jedrick Wills Jr. from Bama, Jack Conklin, blocking up front for you, Odell, Austin Hooper, Njoku, Landry. Come on. Come on. You feel me? It's time. It's time. But keep an eye on the Browns. It's one of those things. The Browns could be a team that could go 10-6. They could also be a team that go 8-8, or they can go 6-10, or even worse. But I feel now with the roster that they have, and with this new kind of scheme that they have, but most importantly, as you see on the screen right there, Jedrick Wills Jr. and Jack Conklin. Do I need to bring in the Jack Conklin? Hold on. I need to bring in the Jack Conklin because this Jack Conklin card is too fire for me not to bring up. Here we go. Hold on. Here we go. Oh, boom. You see that? Editing at its finest. Boom. Let's put that right there. Jack fucking Conklin. Editing on the fly. Pro Football Focus. You see that? Boom. Jack Conklin. Remember the name. Jedrick Wills Jr. I love those cards that they do like that on Twitter when they had the free agency frenzy. Absolutely love that shit. So keep an eye out on the Browns. Could be the AFC North. Could bring three teams. The Ravens, the Steelers, Big Ben Revenge Tour 2020, and the Cleveland Browns. Keep an eye on them. Number three is going to be a team that you're going to not even believe what I'm saying. You're going to think, no way, this team could make the playoffs this season or even next season, or maybe even the next season after that. But I'm telling you right now, keep an eye on the New York Giants. And I know a lot of people will say, the Giants? Come on. right? But they have made some nice additions to their roster, right? The Eagles and the Cowboys on paper are leaps and bounds ahead of the Redskins and the Giants as of today, right? But I wouldn't be surprised if the Giants make not necessarily the playoffs this season, but maybe next year, if they have one more good draft, they might be able to fight it out for a wild card. I think that they're kind of trending in the right direction. And the reason that I say that, you got Trent Williams, right? Obviously with him aging, not the same, right? From the Redskins. On the offensive line is what I'm talking about. Jason Peters, no longer there. Travis Frederick, Cowboys. So each offensive line, right? Redskins, Cowboys, Eagles, isn't as strong as it was a few years ago. But you know whose O-line is getting strong and is going to start to push around some of these other teams, not only in the NFC East and some of these other teams in the NFC and AFC? The New York fucking Giants. Nate Solder is old, all right? Let's not get it twisted. His best days have already passed him. But to be a cog in that offensive line with my two favorites, Will Hernandez, a feisty motherfucker that won't take no for an answer, and getting Andrew Thomas, a guy from Georgia that can play left side or right side. Andrew Thomas, Nate Solder, Will Hernandez. That's going to give Daniel Jones a lot of time to be able to make plays. And I feel that I like Daniel Jones better than Drew Locke. I like Daniel Jones better than a lot of the kind of up-and-coming guys. I like him better than Sam Darnold. I like Daniel Jones better than Baker Mayfield personally. So I really do think that the Giants, they lack talent on the defensive side of the ball. Yes, I know they do, right? But they're starting to put it together, and they're starting to grow that offensive line. And as you know, someone that does his research, right? I look at offensive line, I look at defense, I look at who they got. You got Daniel Jones, right? I think that he's going to improve quite a bit this season and next season. So don't be surprised if they hit the playoffs in the wild card as maybe as early as this season. I know it's crazy to sound, you know what I mean? But they would have to have some injuries happen with the Eagles, some unfortunate things that happen to the Cowboys, you know what I mean? But there is a shot that they could overachieve this season, worst to first or third to first or third to second or fourth to second. It happens every year. And we always have teams that we're not really thinking it's going to happen. Saquon Barkley's got to stay healthy for the full season for them to be able to get to this 9 or 10 win range if they want to overachieve. I think personally it could be next season, but you never know. Could be this season. Andrew Thomas, Nate Solder, Will Hernandez. I love that fucking trio. Not saying that Brandon Brooks and Kelsey and some of the pieces that they have on the Eagles line isn't up to par, right? Because the Eagles definitely have an amazing O-line. Cowboys, even with Frederick on, you got definitely pieces there with Tyron Smith, and they still got nice pieces as well, right? But I like that. Evan Ingram, Darius Slayton at wide receiver, Dion Lewis coming over from the Titans, Golden Tate, Sterling Shepard healthy this season, and then on the defense, Blake Martinez. Some people love him. Some people hate him. He's a guy that's sideline to sideline, still has some gas in the tank. That could help him out. James Bradbury, Leonard Williams, Dexter Lawrence from Clemson. So they don't have all the pieces just yet on the Giants, all right? I'm not saying they're Super Bowl contenders. I'm not saying that they're going to be in this amazing football team. But I do think that people are sleeping on the Giants quite a bit. And I think that they could do something. I really do. And it could be as early as this season. I mean, just imagine if the Giants make the playoffs. The Browns make the playoffs. Could happen. The Rams could make the playoffs. It's not that crazy to think. You know what I mean? There's teams on paper that look good, but you got to be able to execute, and I got to be able to see you do your thing. But the Giants are a team that people are not even really considering being a good team. I like what they're doing on that O-line, and that's the main reason I like the Giants. Right? I like Daniel Jones, and it's not even about Saquon. It's about Andrew Thomas from Georgia, Nate Solder, and especially Will Hernandez. I love the nasty in him. I watched the film. He's an amazing player. Will Hernandez and Andrew Thomas are going to be a great duo. Number 3, the New York Football Giants with Saquon Barkley. Number 2 is a team that is getting slept on quite a bit as well. I absolutely love this team's chances, like the Rams, to be able to make a significant push against the Seahawks, against the Niners, right, and to show what they're really worth. And I think he's going to have a breakout season, as you saw as my profile pick on the video. Who am I talking about? I'm talking about the fucking Arizona Cardinals and Kyler Murray. This team is really built for Not necessarily short-term success. I still need to see them draft efficiently, and I need to see them keep bringing in free agents, and it might be a process of a couple years, but what they have on paper looks kind of sexy. Kyler Murray will improve, right? The offensive line still is shaky. They definitely don't have a Giants offensive line, but the fish god in Kenyon Drake, that's what we used to call him when he was on Miami. Now he's the desert god, right? I like him a lot. Efficient, doesn't fumble a whole lot, is physical, gets you those big first downs in the clutch. He's going to be Kyler Murray's best friend. Kenyon Drake, look for him to do big, big things for the Cardinals. And you got Larry Fitzgerald, even though he's aging, he still can throw up good yardage for you. He can probably still get you 800 to 1,000 yards, 5 to 8 touchdowns in the season. DeAndre Hopkins in that crazy fucking trade, a top 2 wide receiver in the game with Michael Thomas. But my boy Chris Godwin and Mike Evans are coming. We're coming for the top spot. Don't be surprised if Chris Godwin, right, starts challenging Mike Thomas, a.k.a. can't guard Mike, and DeAndre Hopkins for the league lead in yards and touchdowns. It just depends on how many looks he gets. But I'm excited to see what DeAndre Hopkins is going to do with Larry Fitzgerald, and they got Christian Kirk. And Andy Isabella started to break out a little bit as well. If you watch Cardinals games last year, had some deep touchdowns. So I like what they're doing there. They still need to address the O-line, right? They still need to be able to get more pieces at guard and center and tackle, but I see them doing that in the next 3 years, right? The X factor is Isaiah Simmons. When you see Isaiah Simmons and the ball is snapped besides Chase Young, this guy gets, shot out like a rocket. He can be a huge X factor for the Cardinals defense. They got Patrick Peterson still, Hall of Famer, even with the PED scandal. Chandler Jones is very reliable, right? Budda Baker is obviously a Pro Bowler, a special teams guy as well from UW. And they got Robert Alford, corner from the Falcons. So, I mean, they have some pieces there. I mean, the offense should be considerably better than the defense, but I think the Cardinals are one of those teams that if you sleep on them a little bit too much, they might be able to make the playoffs like the Giants in a year or two. Am I saying that the Cardinals, Rams, or Giants are going to make the playoffs this season? We'll have to see, right? But I definitely like these teams moving forward. They're trending in the right direction, and I don't think they're getting a love. Just saying. The Rams, the Cardinals, they're not getting enough love. Everyone already is banking. Okay, Niners, Seahawks, those are the teams that are going to go 12-4, 10-6. Rams and the Cardinals have absolutely no shot to make the playoffs, and I think that's just crazy. You know, I watch football very closely, as you guys know. I call it how I see it, and I know sometimes it does sound crazy to say it, but there's a lot of times when you go worst to first. It's just the nature of the beast in the NFL. If you guys watch NFL, it happens all the time. Worst to first, third to first, fourth, worst to second, third to second. You know, it happens. So these are teams that they could make a jump. The Rams, the Broncos, the Raiders, the Browns, the Giants, the Cardinals. And then my number one team, right? This isn't really going to be a big surprise, but this is the team that I want to watch the closest out of all the teams, because I think this team is the only team that's going to be able to hang with the Chiefs and the Ravens. Who is it? Who is it, folks? The Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen. I think that this team can finally get to not only the playoffs, I think they're going to win the AFC East. I think they should be able to dominate the AFC East for quite some time now since Tom Brady's gone. Right? And they have a chance to overachieve and get to the AFC Championship game, in my personal opinion. I need to see better accuracy and consistency from Josh Allen. I know you got the arm, Bills Mafia. I know you got the arm. But when it comes into the clutch, and if you play a good defense, right, like the Titans, you know, or the Chiefs are bringing it with Chris Jones, and who Chris Jones, right, and Frank Clark and Honey Badger, or the Ravens and Calais Campbell, and they're in your fucking face, I got to be able to see you make plays. Yes, you got Stephon Diggs, which is going to be huge. You still got Cole Beasley, right? You still got John Brown. But my MVP of that team is Coach Sean McDermott. I don't think people give Sean McDermott enough love, enough credit. I absolutely love what Sean McDermott has done to this roster. They have an amazing roster from top to bottom. This team is going to be a team that is going to be a powerhouse for many years to come. Yes, I said it, and I like their consistency on that same level from years back that we saw from like the Steelers with Big Ben when he was healthy. Seeing the consistency that we're going to see with the Chiefs moving forward, right? With the Patriots when they had that long run. I absolutely love this team, but I still have a few question marks. But I think with the addition of Stephon Diggs, it's going to make such a big difference to have a true number one wide receiver, and it's going to open up the door for Cole Beasley and John Brown not to have so much pressure put on them to be able to make all those big plays. Bills Mafia has got the defense, they got the special teams, they got the coaching, they got the running game, they got wide receivers, they got everything that you want to be able to compete with the Titans, the Chiefs, the Ravens, the Steelers, the Chargers, and whoever else wants to compete with them. I love this team. Okay? Tre'Davious White, one of the most underrated corners, in my opinion, in the league. Top 10 corner in my book, Tre'Davious White. Guess what? Josh Norman. I know that's a name for Panthers fans. They loved him when he was there because he was a system guy, took a lot of chances for pick sixes, and it worked for him because he had guys behind him and guys in front of him that made plays. But when he went to the Redskins, HTTR, right, he didn't have the same talent around him, and a lot of people labeled him a bum, a bust. But can we see Josh Norman get back to the Carolina Panther? Josh Norman with this Bills defense? I think so. I think we're going to see a rejuvenation like when Richard Sherman went from Seattle to the Niners. People slept on Richard Sherman. It's, Richard don't got it no more. But he did, and he does. When you got the smarts up here and you be able to put in the progression, Josh Norman talks a lot of shit. Is he worth the money that the Redskins paid him? No. But if he's got great talent around him where he can make plays and take chances like he did with Carolina, look for a big season, the biggest season that we've seen out of Josh Norman in years. I truly believe that. Tre'Davious White on one side, Josh Norman on the other. That's going to be a big X factor to me to see how far the Bills go. Not a lot of people are talking about that. Jermaine Edmunds, linebacker, stud, one of the best linebackers in the league already. Have you guys seen Jermaine Edmunds play? Have you seen him? He's amazing. He's got a brother over there on the Steelers as well. Those Edmunds bros are the shit. Ed Oliver, he plugs up the middle. AJ Espinosa from Iowa, 6'6" second rounder, edge rusher. He'll probably get 9, 10, 11 sacks this season. Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer in the back end at safety. I absolutely love the Bills, right? So, we got the Chiefs, we got the Ravens. We already know how great they're going to be, all right? Those are the top dogs. But now we got the Bills. Now we got Big Ben Revenge Tour, right? We got the Steelers. We got the Titans and Ryan Tannehill and Derrick Henry. Maybe the Chargers with Tyrod Taylor, and Justin Herbert and whoever they have back there. Austin Eckler, Derwin James. Absolutely love him, right? So we'll have to see where things go. The AFC, you can't really say it's wide open because it's not. You know what I mean? You got the Chiefs, you got the Ravens, and then we're going to have to see those other teams. But as far as a third team that I feel confident in, having a good football season, it's definitely the Buffalo Bills, okay? As far as the NFC is concerned, you got the Niners, you got Seattle, right? You got Green Bay, you got Minnesota. You got the Saints, you got Tampa Bay, right? You got the Eagles, and you got the Cowboys. But those other teams that are in the league, that third or fourth team, some of those teams are going to overachieve, and they're going to do big things. And some of those teams at the top are not going to be as good as they were last year. Is that going to be the Niners in Seattle? Not as good. Is that going to be Green Bay and Minnesota? Not as good. Is that going to be the Saints? Not as good. Is it going to be the Eagles and the Cowboys? Not as good. It's yet to be seen. Broncos, Rams, Raiders, Browns, Giants, Cardinals, and then the obvious one, the one I really want to watch because of the talent, the Bills. So that is my top 5 with a couple honorable mentions that I wanted to kind of give you guys the education of some of the players that have moved teams. So you're aware of guys like Kori Littleton on the Raiders, formerly of the Rams. John Johnson III on the Rams. Cam Akers on the Rams. Cooper Kupp. Jedrick Wills Jr., Jack Conklin on the Browns. Drew Locke. You need to know a lot of these names even if you don't watch a lot of these teams. You know what I mean? It's very important. We just hit 3 million views on our YouTube channel, the Northwest Sports Fanatics. We're almost at 20,000 subscribers. I need your guys' help, though. Right? We're about 600-700 away from hitting that 20K. Help me out if you guys know anybody that loves the NFL and loves football. My NFL top 5 teams to keep your eyes on with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy like Matthew Sanchez and Jomo did. $10 and $3.99. Love you guys. And if you're looking for merch, Northwest Sports Fanatic merch, link is below every video on our YouTube page. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the show. It's been about an hour and 23 minutes, so I'm going to scroll up to the comments here just real quick, even though I know you guys have been chatting and talking shit back and forth quite a bit. But I want to scroll up just a little bit to see if I can answer any questions that you guys have, and then go for probably another about 7 minutes. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I put in a lot of work, a lot of effort, with editing, putting in the research and taking the time to go to the team websites, watching a lot of film. So I hope you guys really enjoyed it. I know a lot of y'all love the Northwest Sports Fanatics and the NFL content that me and Marcus bring. So I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. We would never be at 3 million views at this point. Like I said, we started the dream in 2013 on Facebook, transitioned to YouTube in 2017. So from 2017 to 2020, in about 3.5 years, we hit the 3 million views. I know some, YouTube channels get 1 million views in one video. I get it. But this is our journey, and it's a grind. It's not, we don't have any, famous people backing us. We're not with Bleacher Report or ESPN or Fox Sports. So for us to be independent on our own with no one helping us, no editing for the first couple years, just, one take shows that we did for reaction videos, and then started to transition to live streams and everything. I just want to take the time to say I love you guys. Thank you guys. I appreciate you guys. We would never be where we are today without y'all. Anyone that is donated, like Matthew Sanchez and Jomo, watched a video, clicked on a video, even clicked on by accident and found us. I appreciate you guys very, very much. And I know Marcus appreciates you guys very much as well. So I'm going to leave the door open here. So, I bring the energy. I bring the fire. Anyone that has any questions or comments, comment right now. I got about 5 minutes left before I end the show, so anything you guys want me to address, or who I think is better than who, or anything that you guys want me to talk about, I'm here. I'm down for a little bit more time, and I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I always bring 110% energy. I bring the fire. I bring everything. On every show that I do. I bring the energy, I bring the fire, I bring the education, I bring the stats, I bring the knowledge, and I want to make sure that you guys enjoyed yourself and had a good time. Orion Strick, Chiefs Kingdom in the building. Orion, which defense you taking, Saints or Chiefs? Whew, that is a tough one. Saints or Chiefs? Well, look at the Chiefs defense. You got Chris Jones, you got Frank Clark, you got Honey Badger, Anthony Hitchens. You got a lot of pieces that I really love on that Chiefs defense. A lot of people kind of sleep on the Chiefs defense because they were so bad the year before, and they think that they were still bad when they won the Super Bowl. If they were so bad in the playoffs, they wouldn't have been able to get down to the Texans, down to all these different teams, the Titans, down to the Niners and fight back. It's not all just Patrick Mahomes, even though that's a big part of it, right? But the defense had to make plays at the right time. And then as we go to the Saints, you got a lot of pieces there as well. Cameron Jordan, Demario Davis, a.k.a. the Glue, Marshawn Lattimore. I do like both of the defenses. I'm not sure if there's one defense personally that I like more than the other. And it's tough because both offenses are great, right? But I have to give the edge, obviously, with the Chiefs and Mahomes, because Mahomes, where he's at in his age now versus Breeze now. I love Michael Thomas. I love AK-41. I love Emmanuel Sanders. I love Jared Cook. But Drew Brees today versus Patrick Mahomes, that's not even really a fair question. And then the defense, I like both, man. I'm not sure it's close. It's close because the thing is, a lot of NFL fans that aren't fans of the Saints or the Chiefs, I would say more would lean towards the Saints, typically based off some of the names that they have, like a Cameron Jordan, Demario Davis, Marshawn Lattimore. But for the players that I see as well, I might lean slightly and just by a little, possibly the Chiefs, just because as long as Chris Jones is there. If Chris Jones is not there, then I go Saints. But if Chris Jones is there, I go Chris Jones and his impact, Frank Clark, his impact, Honey Badger, his impact. Those three guys and their impact compared to the three Saints, Demario Davis, Cameron Jordan, and Marshawn Lattimore, I think I would take those three Chiefs players over those three Saints players. Not by a lot, but just based on production and what I see on a game-in, game-out basis. I think Demario Davis is the most underrated NFL player on defense besides my Levante David. So I absolutely love him. I love Marshawn Lattimore, but he hasn't had the same rookie season as he did a few years ago, where he had like the 5 picks. He's kind of. I don't want to say that he's went down in production and went down in skill set, because I still think that he is cornerback number 1. He's amazing. I love his game, but I think that the players for the Chiefs are just a little bit more seasoned. Cameron Jordan and Chris Jones are almost even, because they're both great pass rushers. They're both great leaders. They know how to get to the football. They both amp up their football teams, right? And then obviously Honey Badger. I mean, what can you say? Honey Badger has been amazing since LSU. You know, you can't put a price on a guy like Honey Badger. Arsonius, my guy. Awesome to see your channel doing so well. I hope your Bucks turn it around this year with all the great roster moves they made. $15 donation. Arsonius, my guy. Appreciate you, man. Bang, bang, Niner gang in the building. Awesome, man. Appreciate you. But that's just me. And, you know, and the thing is, it's not because I'm a Bucks fan and I'm hating on the Saints. As you guys know, I'm one of the biggest Saints supporters on planet Earth. I love Drew Brees. I love AK-41. You can't guard Mike. You only hope to contain him. He's the best wide receiver in the game. He's better than DeAndre Hopkins. You know what I mean? But I feel if I had to go for those 3 versus those 3, I think I'm leaning a little bit more, you know, towards the players on the Chiefs, personally. But, you know, but it's not by a lot, by any means, just saying. But like I said, it all depends on if you watch the little intricacies in the game. You know, do you watch, you know, guys pulling? Do you guys, you know, watch the little things in NFL? You know, do you guys watch pancake blocks? Do you guys watch guys pulling? Do you guys watch the impact of a guy who can run block and pass block? Do you watch the impact of a guy that can play guard, center, and tackle? Do you guys watch the impact of a guy that can go from the right side to the left side? You know, do you watch a guy that, you know, can play corner or safety? I watch for those things, and I don't think a lot of people do. I know a lot of fanatics in the room do, and a lot of fans, you know, look for certain things like that, but a lot of fans just look at the quarterback, the running back, the wide receiver, the glamorous positions that get glorified on Twitter, Instagram, you know, ESPN, Sports Center, and I like to dig a little bit deeper, deeper, baby. You feel me? Let's see here. Ruiz in the building. Rams, baby. The Ramily. Lenny D says, Eagles about to do damage this year. I definitely think they are. Jalen Reagor. The Deshaun Jackson 2.0. I'm so excited to see what he's going to do. The chemistry with Dallas Goedert. And so bad it hurts Zach Ertz and the rest of the squad. And then let's not forget about Miles Sanders. Maybe the most underrated running back besides Josh Jacobs in quite some time. You don't really hear too much about Josh Jacobs, but you hear even less than Miles Sanders. And I'm a big Penn State guy, and I know a lot of guys in Philly, you know, Chris Godwin. You know, I've been watching a lot of Penn State, you know, not just kind of Saquon, Godwin, but I watch a lot of film, and I watch a lot of Penn State. And I know a lot of Philly guys out there, Eagles fans, you know, they look for those Penn State guys as well, you know, being in that area. But I'm really excited to see what they're going to be able to do this season. The Eagles, like I said, based on what I feel this season, I think the Eagles are going to win. And I know usually NFC East, right, year in and year out, traditionally it's a different winner in the division every year. At least it was like that for quite some time in the last 10 years. It was almost a different winner each year, right? And I watch NFC East football, right? But as far as the Eagles are concerned, I definitely think that the Eagles can win the division this season. To me, they have the best team in the NFC East as of today. Now, as we, you know, go in transition, you know, to see what the Cowboys and the Giants and the Redskins do, I still like those teams also, right? But as far as what I see today and what I feel about Carson Wentz and that roster with Dougie P, I like the Eagles as the best team in the NFC East. And I'm a Bucs fan. You know what I mean? So I don't have any internal hate or bias. I call it how I see it, and that's why people love this channel. I give you real facts. I don't sugarcoat shit. You feel me? I love the Eagles. I think that the Eagles fly, can definitely win 10 to 12 games this season. I think they can win more than the Cowboys. Cowboys should be around that 8 to 10 win range. Giants and Redskins, somewhere between that 5 to 8 win range this season. Unless injuries happen and then the Redskins overachieve and get to 9 or 10, or the Giants overachieve and get to 9 or 10. But the only way I see that happening, right, is if there's some injuries with the Eagles and Cowboys players where they drop some of those head-to-head matchups and it gets a little bit closer. But that's my personal feeling. Who has a better defense, Eagles or Saints? Well, Eagles defense is good too, man. That's tough. That's tough. You know? And obviously you got Malcolm Jenkins, flip-flopping teams now too. So that's really interesting also to see, obviously he was pretty upset with Drew Brees and the comments that he made. So we'll have to see where that goes and how much gas he has left in the tank. But I like the Eagles defense too. They've made some good additions to their roster as well. Fletcher Cox is a Hall of Famer. I mean, what else do I need to say? They got a lot more than Fletcher Cox, but he is the key cog, in the middle. He makes that defense go, just like Cameron Jordan does and Demario Davis does. You know what I mean? So I'm not sure if you can put really who's got a better one, but I definitely respect the Eagles and the Saints defenses, and because I do respect both of their defenses and their rosters, I have the Eagles winning the NFC East and the New Orleans Saints winning the NFC South, even over my Bucks. Playoffs for both of them, and they can make some good deep runs too. Yeah, Saints got some good depth as well. All right, Ruiz. Appreciate you.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into NFL Total Access, and welcome back once again.
Yeah, Chiefs ain't no chumps, man. Because I'll tell you what, if the Saints made the Super Bowl against the Chiefs, the Saints wouldn't have won, I don't think, based off Patrick Mahomes and how he was playing and how that defense was clicking. I don't think there was any team that would have represented the NFC, Niners, Saints, Packers, whoever. I don't think anyone would have been able to beat them last year. And it's going to be really tough to beat them this season. And really the only way that I see a team from the NFC winning the Super Bowl, if it has to be someone other than the Chiefs, you're going to have to play the Ravens, the Bills, the Titans, the Steelers, but more than likely the Ravens. I think the Ravens are a little bit more beatable than the Chiefs. So if the Ravens overachieve, right, and they make the Super Bowl, that's your window, NFC teams. You could beat the Ravens. Not saying the Ravens are a bad team whatsoever, because the Ravens, I feel, are going to win a Super Bowl in the next 6 years. They are going to get one with that roster and Ozzie Newsome and how they've built that team with Coach Harbaugh. But definitely I have the Chiefs as the dominant, the New England Patriots of this, football era. It's definitely the Kansas City Chiefs. Let's not sleep on them. Patrick Mahomes could go down as the best quarterback in NFL history when it's all said and done. They could end up having 5, 6, 7, 8 championships when it's all said and done. That's how good the Chiefs are. And if you are sleeping on them thinking that they're not that good, you're kidding yourself. Watch the tape. Watch them. The adversity. I have never seen a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes. That's why we call him the clone, and we gave him that nickname. He's got a little Tony Romo in him, a little Dan Marino in him, a little Brett Favre in him. You know what I mean? He's got a little Joe Montana in him. You know what I mean? He's got a little bit of every Aaron Rodgers in him, a little Russell Wilson in him. I mean, he's got a lot of things, that quarterbacks dream to have, and he ain't slowing down one bit. Opinions on the Saints. I love them. Brandon Graham, I love him too. Jenkins is on the decline a little bit, but he can still bring leadership, for the Saints and what they bring. But I think the Saints are great. I like the pieces that they have. Drew's arm strength is declining like Tom Brady's is because they're getting older, and that's big facts. Warren Moon even said it, on a Twitter article that I read today. That's facts. But the Saints are better than the Buccaneers, and that's my team, right? I got Tom Brady. I got Gronk, right? But I ain't no dummy. You know what I mean? You got Can't Guard Mike, the best wide receiver in the game. You got Emmanuel Sanders, one of the best, duo guys to add to your roster. AK-41 is still in the building. You got Jared Cook, a top 6 tight end in the league. You got Drew Brees still in the building. You got Sean Payton still coaching the team. You know what I mean? You got great pieces on defense. Demario Davis, a.k.a. The Glue, Marshawn Lattimore, Cameron Jordan. You got plenty of pieces that I absolutely love. So I still think the Saints are, between, as of today, the Niners and the Saints, to me, as of today, are the 2 best teams in the NFC. You still got other teams there, Packers, Eagles, that are right behind them. You know what I mean? And we'll see what Tampa Bay does, but I got to see it first. You know what I mean? But that's just my personal opinion. If Lamar Jackson can show me that he can throw, then I'll agree with you, Orion, on the Ravens winning the Super Bowl. But the thing is when Trent Dilfer and the Ravens won the Super Bowl, and Brad Johnson and Tampa Bay won the Super Bowl, if they can get that defense with Calais Campbell to really overachieve, Marlon Humphrey and some of those other guys that they have on the roster, they got an amazing defense. And as Mark Ingram, if he doesn't get injured, right, that opens up a lot more for Hollywood Brown and Mark Andrews to make plays. So he doesn't necessarily need to make all the big throws with his arm. You know what I mean? If they can just get more steady running game and have Mark Ingram stay healthy, that might be good enough for the Ravens to get past the Chiefs and the other teams and win the Super Bowl. I'm just saying. I know how that team is built. They catered the offense to Lamar, right? Lamar played great, but he wasn't able to finish it up. But sometimes when you win the MVP, you don't win the Super Bowl that same year, right? Previous year, Patrick Mahomes, they lost to the Patriots. Amazing season, right? We know Mahomes has got that, 50, 60 touchdowns, 5,000, 6,000 yards in him at some point. At least I know he does, right? But sometimes when you win MVP, you don't win the Super Bowl. So maybe the Ravens' year is this year. Maybe the Chiefs take a step back, and maybe the Ravens take a step forward. It's very possible. There's not really a lot separating the Ravens and the Chiefs besides Mahomes and what he can do with the football, with his arm and his decision-making, compared to Lamar Jackson in the clutch. Mahomes is clutch. The clutchest of clutch, right? Get on the brake, get on the clutch. You feel me? That's Patrick Mahomes. Lamar Jackson, the brakes are kind of broken. You know what I mean? He can make some throws, but he can't make the big third down clutch throws just yet. But that doesn't mean he can't. You know what I mean? That doesn't mean he can't. But they built definitely that RPO and that gimmick offense around him, and that gimmick offense might be good enough to win a Super Bowl. Just saying. Lenny D says, DeAndre Hopkins is my number one receiver in the league right now. And, he has been a number one wide receiver, with Antonio Brown, Julio Jones. But with can't guard Mike and what he brings, DeAndre Hopkins has had the best stats with the least amount of talent. You got Drew Brees, with can't guard Mike, right? You got Matt Ryan with Julio Jones, right? Big Ben with Antonio Brown. Who the fuck has DeAndre Hopkins had besides Deshaun Watson? Not a lot, right? And so I can see that argument. He's definitely his stats would be inflated if he had a Matt Ryan quarterback his whole career. Facts. But as far as DeAndre Hopkins and can't guard Mike, I think there's a little bit of a gap now. If Antonio Brown never left the game, you might argue Antonio Brown, if he was still on that same pace as a few years ago, because for a while, Antonio Brown was the best wide receiver in the league for about 5 years straight. DeAndre Hopkins was number two, a solid number two, you know what I mean? But when Antonio Brown fly like a butterfly, sting like AB, nobody was better. I mean, if you watched football, everyone has their personal favorites. Some guys are head cases, off the field. Right? AB and, Terrell Owens and, certain guys love to talk, Randy Moss. DeAndre Hopkins is kind of a classy guy. He's more of like Marvin Harrison. Score, hand the football to his mom, maybe spike it once every 4 touchdowns. You know what I mean? So everyone's got their personal favorites. But there's nothing wrong with being top 2, right? I think DeAndre Hopkins is leaps and bounds better than Julio, personally. DeAndre Hopkins is a touchdown machine. But everyone has their favorites. You get me? Just saying. But I can see where you're coming from, Lenny D. I would love to have DeAndre Hopkins on my team. But can't guard Mike, to me, is the best wide receiver in the game. The stats prove it. His slant routes prove it. His hands prove it. You know what I mean? The yardage proves it. He's had arguably the best start to a career in the NFL at wide receiver than we've seen. And obviously, if DeAndre Hopkins had a better quarterback, his numbers would be better too. But it's not like Drew Brees is in his prime. He's at the back end of his career, and Michael Thomas is making these, things happen. Brian Burns, Spida Burns, underrated. Berto says, Orion, your top 5 NFC teams. Whew, that's tough. I'll go just like today. I go Niners 1, Saints 2, Eagles 3, Packers 4, Seahawks 5, and then maybe Buccaneers at 6, 7, or 8, somewhere around there. Cowboys in that mix, after 5 as well. So I'd probably, that's, just off the top of my head, if you're just putting me on the spot, I think that's probably where I'll go. Niners 1, right? Saints 2, or you could flip-flop and say Saints 1, Niners 2, but I still have a lot of respect for Kyle Shanahan in that roster, and Brandon Ayuk is going to be a monster. I don't think people realize how great of a draft pick that really was. But Niners 1, Saints 2, Eagles 3, or you could even go Packers 3, but I'll go Eagles 3, Packers 4, Seahawks 5. And then Tampa Bay 6, Cowboys 7, a few other teams I know I'm leaving out as well. And I feel some other teams, like I mentioned in the show, Rams, Cardinals, a few people are sleeping on some of these teams that could be very good. Just saying. Lenny D says, it's possible it will be between Mahomes, Wilson, Drew Locke, and Murray and Wentz to be MVP favorites. Well, Russell Wilson never gets the pub or the love ever, Lenny D, which is crazy. How he can never get votes for MVP, which he is probably the most valuable player in our NFL besides Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Donald. You could argue besides Patrick Mahomes, Russell Wilson is the most valuable piece to any team because without Russell Wilson, the Seahawks win 5 games or less. Don't you think? I mean, depending on who their quarterback is. But when you got Russell Wilson, you're thinking 9, 10, 11, 12 wins. I mean, look at the development of Tyler Lockett. DK Metcalf. A lot of their roster. Russell Wilson's very valuable in my eyes. I'm hoping the Giants are a season or 2 away from making the playoffs again. I honestly feel, Sean, that they are getting closer. Like I mentioned in the show earlier, if you go back and watch it, I had a lot of great things to say about Daniel Jones. I like Daniel Jones better than Baker Mayfield. I like Daniel Jones better than Drew Locke. I like Daniel Jones better than Sam Darnold. There's a lot of guys that I like more, like Daniel Jones more than them. Just saying. Drew Locke. Don't be laughing, Javon, on Drew Locke. You only watch Panthers, right? But Drew Locke is going to take a step upwards in his game with the weapons that he has. I mean, a lot of people are skeptical on him, and the offensive line kind of scares me a little bit, right? But, I mean, look at the weapons. You got Drew Locke at quarterback, right? Jerry Jeudy from Bama, amazing, the next Marvin Harrison. Cortland Sutton, a fantasy football dream, right? You got Phillip Lindsay, Royce Freeman, Melvin Gordon, right? Defense, Von Miller, Bradley Chubb, Justin Simmons, A.J. Bouye. I mean, there's Noah Fant at tight end. There's pieces there. You just need to have better offensive linemen and get Drew Locke some time. But you can laugh all you want about Drew Locke, but if the Broncos end up overachieving and making the playoffs, who's going to be laughing? It might not happen this year. It might happen next year, but you can't sleep on certain players. Kyler Murray is another one. Just saying. Yeah, Drew Locke definitely has some help. You'll see some increased wins with those players. I mean, your boy does the research. Come on now. You know what I mean? I'm not just talking out of my ass, man. You know what I mean? I see the progression. But a lot of times when I see offensive linemen like Jack Conklin and Jedrick Wills Jr., that gets me excited. Because when I see guys like that, Andrew Thomas, Will Hernandez, when I see offensive lineman duos come together, it really makes a big difference. That's why I'm really high on the Browns and the Giants on getting better. They may not be playoff bound this season, but they're getting closer and closer to compete, not only in their division, NFC East and AFC North, right, but to be able to do some big things. Just saying. Oh, yeah, Drew Locke ain't no MVP candidate. I'm not saying that. It'll be Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, maybe Josh Allen. If they get to the AFC Championship game this year, I could say Josh Allen over maybe a Drew Locke. Josh Allen might be able to get into that conversation, And then on the flip side, Carson Wentz, maybe if he stays, fully healthy, Drew Brees, Tom Brady, Russell Wilson. There's plenty of names. I don't really know what Jimmy G's going to bring, or Jared Goff. We don't really know. We don't really know what the Lions are going to do. I didn't even talk about them today, and Matthew Stafford. You know what I mean? So it's going to be interesting to see. It just depends on if Carson Wentz can keep his players healthy around him. It just seems like either Carson Wentz gets healthy, right, and then the other players get injured at wide receiver, or Carson Wentz gets injured, and then, or vice versa. It's either the receivers stay healthy and Carson Wentz gets injured, or Carson Wentz stays healthy and the wide receivers get injured. I mean, the only really steady pieces has been Dallas Goedert and Zach Ertz. I know Zach Ertz, has been questionable a few games throughout, these last few years, but more than likely, those guys play. You know what I mean? It's really the other players. But I love me some Miles Sanders. You know what I mean? I don't think he gets enough credit at all. And he makes Carson Wentz go. When you have a nice steady running game, it makes the rest of the offense go. And Zach Ertz doesn't get enough credit either. He's a top 3 tight end in this league. You got George Kittle. You got Travis Kelce, not necessarily in that order. And you got Zach Ertz. And then now you got guys like Evan Ingram and Darren Waller, Jared Cook, a lot of these other guys at tight end that are fighting for that 4th, 5th, 6th best tight end in the league spot. It's getting very competitive now. So, but I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. We just hit 3 million views on the YouTube channel. My NFL top 5 teams to keep your eyes on with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can, like Matthew Sanchez did, Jomo did, Arsonius. $10, $3.99, $15. Love you guys. I appreciate you guys. You guys are the best fans on YouTube. I love you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Thank you for commenting. Thank you guys for, being supportive of me and Marcus and the channel. We're almost at 20K, about 600 or 700 more subs to get there. If you guys, know anyone that would love to be able to join the Fanatic family, let them know. Lenny D, keep recording, keep grinding. Young Nola, keep grinding on your mixtapes and, keep, aspiring to be the next Lil Wayne. Keep doing your thing. Keep representing the NO and the 504. Keep doing your thing. We'll keep in touch like we always do. Lenny D, keep recording on YouTube. Keep talking Eagles. Fly, Eagles, fly. I'll keep watching. And you guys are always welcome to come chat it up with your boy. Love you guys. Appreciate you guys. I always will support you guys in whatever endeavors you guys have. Hopefully I can be an inspiration to you guys to do whatever it is, to do a YouTube channel, to keep going in your dreams when other people don't believe in you. I believe, but more importantly, as long as you believe in your dream, you're going to have people like me that will believe as well, and I appreciate you guys very much. So, love you guys. Appreciate you guys. We just hit 3 million views on the channel, Northwest Sports Fanatics, my NFL top 5 teams to keep your eyes on. Have a great rest of your night. Enjoy the rest of your week. Happy hump day. And I'll definitely be back on another stream or reaction video, maybe with Marcus, maybe solo. We'll see. But keep an eye out for me to be able to bring the heat, to bring the fire, and to give you guys a great show. Have a great rest of your night. Love every single one of y'all. Lenny D, Bird Gang, Nola in the building, all y'all. Love you guys. Javon, appreciate you guys. Peace.